Want to introduce this time?
Yeah, well, it's good to be back to talk about Orbis. Um, I was, I'm holdAdoor, iGeek, Ada, or Lucas, depending on what platform you end up seeing me on. And I wish it was on a good do your own research thing, but it was a lot of lessons learned on Orbis. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Orbis was developing a layer two on Cardano for zero knowledge proofs, those DK snarks. And it was basically going to be a Cardano on top of Cardano to handle transactions without having any of the staking and NFT stuff that was built into it. But same Haskell, same Ouroboros, proof of stake stuff. And they were theoretically going to be able to do, hundreds of thousands of transactions on a layer two. What's really do you want me to talk about like I think what most people might know what a ZK snark is, or what a zero knowledge proof is?
Uh,
Um,
I know I don't.
I guess I can talk about that real fast. Oh yeah,
Uh,
okay. So it's hiding, it's revealing only the information necessary to prove that a transaction happened, and that's where the zero knowledge comes in. And it's an acronym. It's zero knowledge. Succinct means it's really small proofs. We're talking like a few hundred bytes, like just one line of code, and it's non-interactive. So there's not supposed to be interaction between the person who's proving their knowledge and the person who's not. And the most popular example is you Jed own the magic lamp and the genie, and I am the guardian of the magic cave, Alibaba's cave. You want to go into the cave and get your lamp, but you're not going to give me, the guardian, the password to the magic lamp. Like, it's the magic lamp, right? I'm just going to go in and take it if I have the password. Um, so there's, we've set up, little mathematical games in the background where I say, here are thousands of passages that'll go into the Cave of Wonders. You pick a random one, and then I'm going to announce to the world what passage that you have to come out with the lamp. And if you don't come out of that passage with the lamp, then you obviously don't own the lamp and you can move about your way. But if you do come out of the passage that I randomly announce with the lamp, then you're obviously the owner, and then everything's good. And I don't know, and no one knows the password other than you because you're the one who came out with the lamp. That's how the zero knowledge proofs kind of work.
okay. Thank you.
Um, yeah, and Otis was building that
Genie lamps.
using yeah production of genie lamps. So so you don't have to share the open sesame password.
Mm,
Uh, and they were going to be using an industry standard ZK snark called Halo. Halo was designed by the same people who do Zcash. Same protocol, same zero knowledge proof that's on Zcash, and it's open source, MIT, licensed stuff. So it was battle tested. They didn't have to like build it from the ground up. They just had to learn how to implement it into Cardano. They had their own Orbis specific language that then would plug into the Halo, that then would be that side chain. And theoretically, then any other L2 out there that was using Halo, including Zcash, could also plug into Orbis. So it would have been a bridge to any other zero knowledge proof out there that was using this Halo protocol, and now it's not.
so what happened?
Well, yeah, it ended up being, it sounds like, a mismanagement of funds. It wasn't like a rug or anything. They were developing this. They were putting out information. They were doing monthly dev blogs and diaries and YouTube interviews. But from reading what ended up happening, they had, $10 million or so in an ADA for USD equivalency, and they didn't transfer that over into a stable coin. And when they got it, to preserve some of the capital, and then the market went down, and they were just spending a lot of money on, there's a lot of math and doctor level it cryptographers that you have to hire, and they demand a premium, so they could have been spending 6 figures on these cryptographers in a bear market with data crashing and everyone's crashing, and it's just now they ran out of money. And that's what happened.
Think we're going to see more of those?
Yeah, I hope we don't see more of like this, the people running out of money projects. That's how it is. I think in the crypto world, with how free it is, there's no real accountability. If I go ask for a catalyst thing and I don't deliver, then no one's going to come after me. I just lose a lot of credibility. I hope that the zero knowledge proof stuff sticks around. It's what midnight that IOG, and Charles announced at the web thing, the Cardano summit. Midnight and Dust is going to be a zero knowledge proof, just like Orbis, and Orbis is all open source. So anyone who wants to maybe pick up those sticks and start building that house again, more power to them, because I think it's important for the scalability side, of that dilemma, of that security, decentralization, and scalability. Cardano is really good about the decentralization and security. We're working on the scalability, and what Orbis would have done, and the same thing as what kind of like input endorsers are doing, is you can have a whole side chain of thousands of transactions coming in at a time. So each little thing that comes on Cardano, this little proof, is actually 1,000 transactions that are putting on there. So it's just, I don't know, it sucks, but at the same time, I learned a lot about zero knowledge proofs. And
yeah, that you make a good point though. If it's open source, somebody could pick that up, and that'd be really interesting to see. One other thing I thought of when you said about you could get Catalyst, and then if you don't deliver, no one's coming after you, and that's true. You lose accountability, but only to the people that are paying attention, and that you can start to see patterns of
right.
some people that done that, doing that, or get involved in projects and rug, those kinds of things.
And I think
same people.
I think with the Daedalus Turbo that happened at the last fund, and just some other things that have occurred with how Vassal rolled out, and now how these two projects have kind of been turned out. I think the Cardano community as a whole kind of has their headlights, or their heads on a swivel a little bit more, and are a little bit more aware of some things. And maybe I think going forward, I hope going forward projects are a little bit more open. One of the problems that I had with Orbis was just finding out who the hell was developing it. They didn't have, up until this last month, they didn't have anything on the website of who the developers were. We knew who Ryan was because of some YouTube things in the same picture, and we knew who one of their other developers was because of some YouTube videos, but we didn't know.
So I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I really want to ask, in your opinion, do you think that regulation will help make that part better, as far as docs, proper doxing and stuff?
It's like, look how it is right now. The guy who did the tornado cash, he got arrested and is in jail. And Sam Bankman just did an interview with New York Times, and not being in jail. I think regulation is inevitable, and it's going to come down, good or bad, or in the middle. It's kind of like what we make of it, and I think it'll at least give clarity, so we're not just all throwing things up in the air and seeing how they land. We can all, right now, we just have a path.
Yeah, with it, and that's what I was trying to get at, was regulation might help us, get a start there, or might it just be up to us as a community to say, hey, this is what we're expecting, and kind of present it that way, and not rely on anybody but the community, which is basically what
Yeah,
we.
I think as far, yeah, I think if if we as a community can show that we can self-regulate, and that's certainly going to help. But I mean, I'm just a little too small on the totem pole. But I just feel like big regulation is just can be just too powerful, and it's regardless of whatever I debate on Twitter or whatnot, they're gonna still, come down with what they deem as appropriate for the space. And of course, if we police ourselves, then it's better looking,
Yeah, yeah, maybe they won't be so harsh.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's why we gotta, that's why we gotta look into really difficult prop things like Orbis that we may not understand to know who's doing those things, and take it upon ourselves to take the time to do those. And sometimes it takes a lot of time. I felt bad. It took me way too long to learn about Orbis. Um, and I think next time going forward, I'm just going to start with the people who are doing the project and understand them, because it's not really about what they're building. If they're building something, great. As long as they're building it honestly, then it kind of doesn't matter what they're building, as long as they have it with great intentions and with a common goal towards something, and it's not just a scam. So it's like I almost have to look at the people first before
Yeah,
anything else.
it's got to have a viable, business case. So I mean, it's gotta. We've seen some
Yeah,
where there's no value in that token, and so there's that
very
too.
true. Where's the balance? But we'll move on, and I think I'm ready to do my next little report, whatever that will be.
Are there any other final thoughts on Orbis you want to tell the community?
One of the things that I learned, I was learned from our mistakes is I need to do some of the harder things of the report first. One of the hardest things is the learning the doxing of who the individuals are. That's what takes the longest, goes to learn who these folks are. And I took for granted that they were just, good people developing something, doing good. And I spent all of my time learning on the ZK snark side, which is important. But they were taking folks' money or asking for individuals' money, and that should have been the first thing I looked at: is are they even deserving of the money that they're asking for? Yeah, I'll get to what they're building, but I need to look at them first. And I think that's something that we all need to be a little bit more, do our due diligence. We as users, as Cardano users, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard of policing individuals. And it's not a free pass anymore. Everyone needs to be held accountable, and show that they're building. And that's all we ask. A little transparency on what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate you giving me the time and the audience here.
Yep. Thank you. Always like to hear what you have to say. See you
Yeah.
again.